Great. Morning, everybody. I'm in the cellular tech space, specifically providing services for the insurance guys. And we've been struggling since December. One of our biggest challenges is getting parts. So as much as we have contingency and plan in terms of different factories we utilize, all the smartphone parts are manufactured there. So yeah, the biggest challenge at the moment for me is parts, which is a tricky one. But we've managed. What we've done is we've collaborated with some of the other repairers on the panel to try and share resources. So yeah, so that's kind of we tied in with China, unfortunately, there.
Yeah. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks very much. I want to see now if Harry's on and he's joined us. So just to quickly introduce you, for those of you who don't know Harry, Harry is Master Licenser in South Africa for ActionCOACH. So he has been extremely busy behind the scenes through the last 71 days of lockdown. For those of you who haven't been keeping count, really, boosting the whole community of coaches, so working with business owners himself, making sure that, from his team that they're adding value to businesses, but also working tirelessly with the coaches to help our community. So he's been an unbelievable resource to keep us adding value to the business coaching community and to the businesses and the business community. So I'm very excited to have Harry on the call with us today to give you the opportunity to hear directly from him some of his thoughts and ideas in terms of where we're at and the sort of things that we can anticipate going forward and the sort of things that we could be starting to look at doing to start helping us rebuild our businesses and then obviously our economy as well. So Harry, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. Do you want the screen, Harry?
No, don't worry about the screen. I'm going to put my video on because it's just easier, then you don't have to stare blankly at the slides. And if I need to, I might write something up on the flip chart just now if it's valuable. But thanks very much, Shirley, and great to connect with all of you on this first Friday of June. And I think that together with your comment, Shirley, around 71 days in lockdown is frightening because the year just seems to have been a blur. And 71 days into this madness that even in your wildest dreams nobody could ever have put into their strategic planning. So I think the fact that you're still around, the fact that you're still reasonably upbeat and carrying on, that in itself is a miracle. And I think it's easy to always look at the downside, and I'm reminded of a couple of weeks ago on one of our team calls with the coaches, one of our team members was saying, 70% or 30% of clients can't pay. The cash flow is under pressure because 30% of revenue is gone. And a client said back to the coach, geez, you're lucky, well done, you've still got 70% of your revenue. Same conversation, two different perspectives. Oh, woe is me, 30% down. Oh, thank God, I've still got 70%. So I think I want to share today just a couple of things that I'm seeing. I think where we find ourselves in, definitely looking forward a little bit and to temper that and hopefully impart a little bit of practical things that you can do to really guide and help you through this time, because it is not going to be easy. And I think as we're seeing and as some of the comments already and giving feedback, it's sadly not a switch. We were hoping that it was going to be 3 weeks and then it was going to be over. Now we're 71 days in. We were hoping that when we went from level 4 to level 3, we'd flick the switch, the lights would go on and it'd be back to normal. Well, now I'm hearing people already saying, well, I think July is going to be the month. July is going to be the month. If we can only get to level 2, then we'll flick the switch. The switch ain't going to be flicked. So I want to start off with two reality checks, which might seem a little bit depressing for a start, but we'll definitely build from there. And I think the first thing is to understand that what has happened to countries, what has happened to economies, what has happened to your business, what has happened to your personal finances, is a cancer that has been brewing for a long time. For a long time. And that's just the reality. There is no country that runs a positive budget consistently. So even the countries that are pumping money into the system to supposedly support the economy are doing it on debt. So like in Australia, where they've done pretty well from supporting local business, generations to come are going to be paying for the money they're lending extra. In the land of milk and honey, where the American government has also done great stuff to prop up business and the economy, it's all on borrowed money. And despite that, they've got 42 million yesterday in the unemployment queue. 42 million people have joined the unemployment queue in the space of 2 months. They've gone from the lowest ever unemployment figure of 3.5% to the highest since 1930 in the Great Depression of 14.8%. In 2 months. 2 months, that's been the swing. And the UK, for example, you know, we're already going back to school. We've got coming out to lockdown 3. Non-essential businesses in the UK only go back to work on the 14th. And their personal care industry, that obviously is still a bit of a challenge for us, only goes back to work in July. So what we're facing is not unique to us. It's not a legacy of the past. It's not the politicians. It's the cancer that was around. And sadly, like any cancer that is not addressed because you're not aware of it, or you know, you're feeling a little bit off, but you haven't actually gone to have a check, by the time you realize that that cancer is there, it is sometimes too late. And that's sadly going to be the case for some people. In other cases, it is treatable, but the treatment is quite severe. And you're going to need operations and chemo and radiotherapy and all the rest of it. And that's what we're finding in our business. So what is the most important thing to have when you're diagnosed with cancer, or when you've been around that with somebody else? And the first most important thing to beat cancer is where they come up with the slogan, I can get through this. I can beat this disease. I can get through coronavirus. I can get my business to the other side. I can get my family to the other side. Knowing well that it might be painful, knowing well that there might be times of uncertainty and frustration and desperation, but I can beat this. And I think that's first and foremost the most important thing that's required, especially from you as leaders in your organization. We will beat this. So that if you've got the mindset right, number one, you know, it's easier to go about doing that. So I think that's the first part, is understanding why we're here. It was always there, the cancer. This is just highlighted. And now, if we've got the right mindset, we can go through the tough times. Those tough times, it's like the switch. And I think the analogy I want to use there is, instead of a switch that we're just going to flick and come out of this, it's like a rusty old tap. It is rusted hard and fast, and we're going to turn with all our might, and there's going to be a little trickle. Yeah, and we're going to put more effort into that tap to try and open a little bit more, and the trickle is going to get a little bit better, but it's not going to go into full flow for a while. And I think that's important. I'm going to talk about decisions now, but that's important to help you and your mindset in the approach, because I think what's caused a lot of pain and frustration for us and for you is this uncertainty. When's it going to happen? Okay, but if I get to that point, then it's going to be okay. And well, then I get to that point and it's not. And as you know, we were saying, client, we're open, but we're not back to normal. But it's that expectation that it is going to be that is compounding that. So it is, unfortunately, and especially if you look at unemployment figures, if you look at the strain on the economy, it is going to get slightly worse before it gets better. And I want you to know that, because it just helps with temper your expectations, and then we can get through it easier. So it was interesting. I think it was Tanya that said, we're still in, or was it Tracy? We're lockdown 3, but we're still working from home. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is, first, once you've got this mindset, we can beat this, I can get through this, we are going to get to the other side. That's number one. Number two is, you have to get better at making decisions and balance those decisions between long-term and short-term. And currently, long-term is a month. We don't have the privilege of doing anything more than that because of the uncertainty. So you have to balance between decisions that you can take almost month for month, and then you've got the time and capacity to focus on decisions that might need to be taken hourly. So exactly on that one, the work from home, I want to use that as example. We make the call a month in advance. Well, a couple of days in advance, but of the month. So practical example. At the end of April, there wasn't certainty around what's going to happen in May. So the decision was the office stays closed. We continue to work from home. Yeah, we could have, I suppose, applied and we could have got through professional services, but we didn't have to worry about that because the decision was made. So now for the whole of May, neither me or any of my staff have to wonder, are we going back to work? Aren't we going back to work? Do I need to get up early in the morning to traffic? Don't I? Am I going to be exposed to the virus? Nobody has to worry about that. So because the decision is made for the month, it creates capacity for all of us to focus on what we need to do today. When we got to the end of May, yes, the president left it really late when he went to lockdown, 3 announcements. Ideally should have done it a few days earlier, but be that as it may, I'd seen some of the terms of lockdown ahead of time, was waiting for the announcement, didn't come, made the call for the whole of June, we will stay at home. So currently, for the whole of this month, we could go back to work. I've ordered all the fancy PPE stuff and hand sanitizers and automatic that works with the foot and you don't have to all that stuff. But at this stage, it will be the 1st of July. So again, myself and the team don't have to worry about that. We can focus on what's at hand today. So I'd like to encourage you, where you've got those, let's call it slightly bigger decisions to make, don't get into the trap where you're trying to rely on the news or what the president announces to dictate, can I, will I, won't I? Yes, there's some legalities, obviously, and you can't go opening a hair salon just yet because it's not allowed. But the decisions that you can control is make them at least the month for the month, so that you're not worrying and staying up late at night reading WhatsApps and Facebook messages and News 24 and listening to the president talk, and then he doesn't quite answer all the questions, and shit, now tomorrow I have to listen to another minister to get the rules, and then it's still not clear. That will drive you insane, number one, and it sucks up such a lot of time that you don't get to be operationally focused and make those critical decisions. So first one, can beat this, will beat this, we will get through it. Second one is make decisions where you can for the month, irrespective of if the rules change in that month, because it just creates that capacity for you. I now have the comfort, because of that decision, to have taken the time to get all the equipment in place. The staff are comfortable, they know that the stuff's on order. The 1st of July is only a Wednesday. I think it's a Wednesday, so we'll go in and do the deep cleaning the Monday and Tuesday with a team. So by the time we get there, we don't have that uncertainty. So we want to, in these times, despite the fact that we ourselves as business owners are going through uncertain times, create as much certainty for our team and our staff and our clients and our suppliers as possible. And I know this has been dealt with before, therefore communication is critical. But I want to quickly focus on you as the business owner or as a senior person in that organization, because it's easy to say these things, Harry, but you don't understand what I'm going through. The beauty about our business is Shirley, Sean, me, we're all business owners. We all do exactly the same things you do. We use the same tools. We ride the same roller coaster ride. So I want to focus on you first to say, okay, how can we help you, give you some practical things of how do you get through this? How does it serve you? And then we'll look more at the business. So the most important thing for any entrepreneur is resilience. And you can write that down, make a note, resilience. It is the number one most important skill or trait as an entrepreneur, because you need to be able to bounce back quickly. Resilience doesn't mean you'll never have a problem. Resilience doesn't mean you'll never face setback. Resilience doesn't mean you'll never have a bad day. All it means is, despite what happens to you, you have the ability to bounce back. So it's the critical thing to get you through this. Wonderful. How do I get resilience? How do I get resilience back into me so that I can do this? I can bounce back. I can be there for other people. So the first one is the routine. And ideally, this is practical all times, but even more so now in Corona. And ideally, that routine should be in the morning to kick you off, to start off your day. And the first thing that you need to do in that routine is, no particular order, but let's go through the first thing, is gratitude. And not general kind of gratitude, not, oh, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for a roof over my head, because sadly you're not. And I say that with the greatest amount of respect, because that's the things we should be grateful for. And yes, if we took a moment, yeah, we are grateful for it, but then we move on. So I encourage you rather to every single day find one thing that you're grateful for, either for in that moment or that you can reflect on from yesterday, one thing. And then unpack that a little bit. I had one day I was grateful for Netflix. That's what I was grateful for. Because Netflix allowed distraction, it allowed entertainment, it allowed education, it allowed all sorts of things in the family that millions of South Africans don't have access to. And it actually served our family quite well. I was grateful for Netflix. My father's going into hospital next week getting a hip replacement. One day I was truly grateful for my health. So pick one thing that you're grateful for, and where you can, act on it. So I'll give you a practical example. One day I was really grateful for the school, because I got a son in matric, and he's the only school, bar one other that I know of in the Western Cape, that's writing matric exams virtually. So I was really grateful for that. So my action on the gratitude was to write the school an email to the principal and say, please share this with the staff. So as much as possible, try, just checking my signal was a bit slow there, try and make sure that you're getting gratitude, but then you're acting on it. So gratitude, number one, to help your resilience. Number two is you need to get some inspiration. Now that source of inspiration will be different for different people. It might be doing a bit of yoga. It might be reading from some scripture or the Bible. It might be watching a TED talk. It might be reading something that is inspirational to you. Something that feeds you something that you can get input into, and you go, oh, this means something to me. And that's why I said be different for each of you, but find something that is inspirational and gives you the energy. You've got in your routine, and then inspiration. And the third part, and this is cliche, especially in cold KZN at the moment, is you must get some exercise. And that exercise, even if it's a walk, even if it's just down the road, you must get fresh air. And even more so because we're now virtually and digitally focused, because we've got the stuck behind the screen syndrome the whole time. We're doing virtually, digitally everything. So, get outside, get some exercise, stuff like that. So gratitude, inspiration and exercise, which then feeds the routine part of resilience. So routine being the first one. The second part of building resilience is reframing success. And we've said this a few times, even in our own team, and it came up yesterday on our team huddle again, is how important it is to redefine what success is, because everything we'd planned for this year has been thrown out the window. I had 4 very specific goals for the year for myself. I would be leaving weekend on an African trip for 19 days. I would be going to Rio in August for a conference. Just thinking out loud, I would have maybe gone to the Tokyo Olympics with one of our staff members that was competing. All of that's been taken away. Pressure that we're feeling and the cash flow is, we're not even near. We're having the worst start to a financial year that we have in 4 years. So that's the reality. So I have to redefine success for myself. And the best way of doing that is to say, okay, where can I give myself a pat on the back? And going into different areas that it's maybe our business, to say, okay, well, the fact that we're still in business is a redefinition of success. Because, for example, if you were a business before coronavirus, you were doing well, because some of the big boys internationally were falling by the wayside, going into business rescue and liquidation and stuff like that. Or you might have to go further into the past to redefine your success. So I'm not quite where I want to be today. I'm not quite achieving the goals I wanted today. But if I look at over where my business was 5 years ago, gee, wow, you know, we've grown a lot. We've added more staff members. We've innovated in new products. Our revenue over a 5-year period has been significantly better compared to what it is at the moment to budget. So I have to look externally elsewhere where I can find opportunities to go, oh, Harry, job well done. So that my redefinition of success brings that feeling of, okay, I've got, it is bad, not as bad because there has been progress. So it gives me the energy. So the routine, the first part, the redefining of success, the second part. And the third part is recharge for you. And I shared this practically with my own team Tuesday. Monday, I had a great day. Tuesday, I had a crap day. It was all of where's this business, the cash flow, crunching the numbers and all the rest of it. And there's, you know, financial pressures and personal pressures and operation and going into a hospital and quite say virus. Well, where's the recharge? Now the recharge has been difficult because we can't go anywhere. Movement is restricted. Okay, so for me, I have a motorbike. I love being in the motorbike. I could go to the shop on my motorbike. It's just at least a little bit of peace and comfort. Decided that 16th of the holiday, I'm going to take 2 days after that and just recharge a bit. Just spend some time chillaxing and working, not working, because despite lockdown, we've worked harder now probably than ever. So where's your recharge space? Especially on this call, you guys suck at this. We're the greatest. You're so busy, people, that you forget about you. Dare I say, you do take the brunt of the whole, the cooking, the cleaning, the chores, the, you know, getting us out of bed and sorted. Put a minimum of an hour a week. Obviously, if you can do more, for sure, but if you're doing nothing, an hour for a start, where you can get recharge. If you just sit and stare out at the horizon, brilliant. If you use that time to have a good cackle with your friends, brilliant. If you use that time to do one of your hobbies or just read a book, escape, it's up to you, but it needs to be you only. So you need to position that with the family and say, right, for that hour, I'm going there, no interruptions. Unless the building is burning, don't phone me. It's my recharge hour. And then if you have a significant other or a spouse, give them that same benefit. So then it's congruent. You get an hour a week, I get an hour a week. If the hour is going well, maybe we do it to 2 hours. But you need that recharge. So to build your resilience, you need the routine that we spoke about, the gratitude, the inspiration, and the exercise. You need the ability to redefine success so that you can actually feel worthy, feel better, understand that you are doing a decent job. And then the last part is obviously the recharge, so that your batteries are full. Now you're okay. So you've got the mindset, I can do this. I'm making decisions where I can. I'm a month in advance. I've got the time and capacity to do the dailies. And I'm okay, I can be there for the other people. So the critical 3 elements of where your focus needs to be then going forward in your business is mindset, marketing, money. If you do nothing else but those 3, you would have served you and your business well. Money, mindset, marketing, those 3. In that order is probably of importance. So your mindset and the ability to resilience. The joys of working from home, apologies for that. The ability to get your mindset right, you've got the resilience to bounce back, great. The other 2 is marketing and some of the that was shared with the open kind of comments and questions of where your business is at. It's difficult to get our own clients to come back, let alone, you know, who was it? Bernard? I can't remember who it was, Mark Bernard, that was saying there's no new business at the moment. It was also Tanya said, you know, or Tracy, being respectful of getting our data in. Yeah, you have to be chasing marketing, you have to money. So the marketing is critical to your existing customers. If you're not yet fully operational, make sure you still communicate them what's front of mind. If the business is only trickling in at the moment, make sure that you're there. Some of the best marketing you can do is this little device. You need to be phoning, especially your bigger, better customers. You need to be saying to them, right, we're also a business. We're all going through this. The first thing you do is before you ask them for business, you ask them to say, listen here, say, I'm talking to Shirley. Shirley, how's business? How's business going your side? And Shirley will tell you. And if then you get a sense of, you know, is it okay? Business starting to trickle in. I'm starting quite broad. Then I want to ask, well, Shirley, how are you? How are you holding up? Because that shows as one of your customers, your suppliers, one of your strategic partners in your business, I care about you and your business. Then I can say to Shirley, right, I've asked her how business is, I've asked her how she's coping. I can say, well, Shirley, obviously you understand that we're also under pressure during these times. Do you know of anybody else that we can contact that might be in the to buy from you? So I'm first asking them for a referral. I'm also first asking them, can they think of somebody else? And I'm doing it personally. And we had that reminder in our own business the other day, one of our clients. And the client turned around and said, thank you for asking me. Because I'm so busy with my own business, worrying about my own business, I forget that you also run. So sure, give me a couple of minutes. I just want to give the guy a heads up, and then you can contact him. Wonderful. After I've asked them for a referral, which is indirectly, now I might go in more pertinently and in the notice and say, well, you know, we've noticed you haven't bought from us for a while, or we noticed that you're operating again, you know, can we send you something? Would you like to book or buy or quote or something? So I'm starting with quite broad. How's your business? How are you? Anybody else that we can maybe contact to help support our business? And then what about you? Close it off. Anything I can do for you? Because I've gone to where they are. Now I'm loosening up a bit and saying, please, anything else I can do for you? Brilliant. Okay, so that's on the market, help you do your marketing. And one Facebook post and a blank email to the database is not enough. Because if you look at your own experience at the moment, we are overwhelmed by the amount of digital stuff. Screen times have gone through the roof. We actually just want to run away from the screens at the moment. So we have to find multiple angles and repetition to get through to the people, because everybody is now using it as almost their sole source. That's why phone is still so good, because it stands out. Very few people pick up the phone. And to your current clients, it's somebody I know, they like and trust me already. But you must be doing multiple things on the marketing. On the money side, and that is a tricky one, because businesses are all under pressure. And it's still the best thing I heard. I probably heard this the first week into lockdown. It's the CEO of Retail Capital was doing an interview, and he said that his mentor had said to him, if we all take punishment through this crisis, we will all get through it. If nobody, let me rephrase it. If we all take punishment through this crisis, we'll all get through it. If one person doesn't take a knock, none of us will get through this. And I thought that's so true, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to blanketly say, sorry, I haven't got the money, I'm not going to pay you. That might very well be the reality for a lot of people. Okay, but are you still paying your medical aid? Are you still paying your fiber, your cell phone? Oh yeah, but Harry, if I don't have that, I can't run my business. Well, if I don't supply you, you can't run your business either. So have you stopped all payments to everybody? No. You're still paying a lot of people and scratching, financing, doing what you need to do. You've just chosen to pay me nothing. I understand that. But obviously that's not sustainable for our business. So where can we meet in the middle? Not let's meet in the middle, because that says at least 50-50. Where can we meet in the middle? Which is, Harry, you know, I know you owe you 100,000 Rand, but I can pay you 10. Wonderful. So let's leave it at 10 for this week. if you're doing regular business with them, or not so regularly, maybe for the month. Is it okay if I phone you at the end of June and then we can see what it's like for July? Sure. So try and get some money in rather than no money. And similarly with what you're doing, if you're renegotiating, obviously some people you can renegotiate, get your obligations down significantly, some not so much. But try and take a sliver of everybody rather than just going, oh, well, that's the easy one to pay nothing. Let me get rid of them. And I have to pay these others because they're going to shout the loudest. They is the biggest consequence. So, you know, tough luck for everybody else. No, we need to be a little bit more respectful and human, you use the word, in the process, so that we're getting slivers taken off. Because with slivers taken off across the board, we can make it work. If we're getting all here but nothing there, yeah, that's not sustainable. So that also helps make it useful. And don't be shy. And I know it's difficult, you need to get over yourself for this, but don't be shy to share. I'm also running a business. Just like you. You're under pressure, I get that. We're also under pressure. Where can we meet in the middle? Use those exact words. Where can we meet in the middle? Because they also understand. And the reality is those conversations, again, need to be done over the telephone. You cannot have a conversation around debtors specifically on email, because it's so easy to send you an email and say, oh, sorry, you know, business cash flow under pressure, can't pay you now. And then we just capitulate and go, okay. It's a whole different story to have an actual conversation about it. So as much as possible, those sensitive things, have a conversation on the phone, the good old telephone. If you can do a Zoom live call, you can see them even better. My experience with that, a lot of people don't like that, and now it's too confrontational. It's like me knocking on your door asking for debtors. You know, I didn't like to do that necessarily, and I don't think you like that. So therefore, the phone is a good and happy medium in between. Don't try and do debt collection on email. It's not going to work because it's too easy to fob you off. And then you got from, instead of something, you got naught. Have a conversation. I've got a business to run. You've got a business to run. We want to both get through this in this time. Where can we meet in the middle? And that should help a little bit on the money side. And then, of course, you know, and I think it's obvious, 71 days in, I'm sure you've been doing this already. You need to reevaluate every single cent. You need to renegotiate deals where you can. You need to be making sure that you've got a buffer in your kitty so that, okay, at least I know I can get through June salaries. I might be lending that money. I might be getting it from the UIF fund, but at least if I know I can get through that, it's one less worry and panic and overwhelm, so I can focus on the operations. Where am I going to get July's money? I've got no idea yet, because remember I've said planning is a month at a time. I'll worry about July when we've hit pay on June salaries. Then I'll make that plan. So, and that, I know it's not conducive to less anxiety, because I know that's how we get anxious. We want the light at the end of the tunnel to be a lot clearer and a lot closer. You have to get comfortable with those month on month. Okay, if I can get to June salary, get paid, great, then I'll worry about July, and operate your money kind of on that basis. So if you start with a we will get through this attitude. You take decisions for the month if you can, where possible, so that you've got the capacity for the daily stuff. You work on your resilience by doing those three things: routine, redefining success, and recharging, so that you're okay. And then that'll obviously feed your mindset. So mindset, marketing, money, repeat. Mindset, marketing, money, repeat. And you just go through. That should help you get through this process. So that's just what I wanted to share from my side, and what I'm seeing, what's working for coaches, what's working for their clients, what's some of the discussions I've been having broader with other organizations and other entrepreneurs. And of course, you know, any questions, any discussion, that's why I'm here. So, you know, thank you to Shirley and the team for inviting me. We've still got some time, so let's have a discussion. Let's answer any other questions you may have.
Thanks very much, Harry. I think that really is insightful and some great pointers for us, and also practical, you know, that can be implemented. It's not serious stuff that actually, there's none of any of that we can't be doing. So I think that's really valuable. So I'd just like to encourage people to ask and use the opportunity to put some questions to Harry. Anything you want to ask him, anything you want to challenge him on. Harry's will be shrinking in his boots if you're challenging him, terrified of that, or it's a Harry. No. Anyway, if you've got anything you'd like to ask Harry, challenge. I just got to say, I'm loving your lockdown hairstyle, Harry.
Thank you. I had the fluff and an afro growing yesterday, and found an illegal haircut, a lady that has a salon at home. It's only her, and went for a haircut yesterday, and felt good about that. Albeit my youngest one is 10. He was kind enough to tell me I'm breaking the law. So despite breaking the law, I'm feeling better about having a haircut. So thanks, Shirley.
Cool. Any question? I've got the hand up. We can unmute you.
Yeah, so I think either put your hand up or type it in, and we can take it. But yeah, any questions, any discussion, any just ideas you have. I think that the more we can get input from different sources, the better. And yeah, if you want to debate, if you want to challenge, absolutely, because the reminder that we must have is that there is no rule book for this. There are countries that are getting it right. There are countries that are getting it wrong. There are scientists that are getting it right. There are scientists that are getting it wrong. There is no right way. It's about finding your way to make sure that even if you have to claw on for life and death, that you do, so that you earn the right to play the game later on. Because if you don't claw and hold on for dear life now, you don't earn the right to play the game later on. And I think that's the important thing. So whatever we need to do, we do to get through this. That's as simple as that. So I see Nicole said, yeah, not a question.
Are you picking up anything, Harry?
Yeah, so I see Nicole has just typed in your thanks, Nicole. She said, not a question, just thanks for the advice on resilience, practical. And I think that you'll always see coming from us as Action Coach is the theory helps nothing, guys. I can go read lots of books, brilliant theory. What the hell do I do? And that's why our company's called Action Coach. It's not, well, when I find the time coach, when I've done the PhD to understand the theory coach. No. It needs to be practical things that I can actually go implement. And I think, we hear this all the time. Oh, geez, but it's not rocket science. Yeah, it's not. It's the obvious things done consistently and the simplicity thereof that get us the results. And that's definitely what we need to focus on. I see Tracy has also said, yeah, we managed to get an additional 10% from our debtors by picking up the phone. 10% is a big difference from naught. Connecting with them on a personal level and sharing and commiserating with them. And I think, I'd just like to go to Tracy, because you started off by saying, being human about collecting the debtors and then picking up the phone. So I'm going to unmute you, Tracy. How did those calls go for you?
Well, we got to a point where we were ready to cut debtors off and shut their systems down. And we have a call center, and one of the ladies just mentioned that she'd spent some time chatting with one of the debtors on the phone and sharing her story. And we decided to change our approach, and we started getting our call center involved. We got them to connect with the people that they had personal relationships with, find out how they were doing, what their space was. And by doing that and sharing our story with them, they just suddenly were more open to paying us. They made plans where they could. They understood that we needed financing to keep them online. We offered different solutions. Those guys who couldn't pay, we offered them the option to suspend their accounts, so there were no additional charges to us. So we came we sort of collaborated with them and came to different solutions, and it was able to help them and us. So although we're not out of the woods yet, we're continually assessing how we're doing things. And we've decided that because of our culture, and we're a very personal and family-orientated business, we decided to use that culture to our advantage with our debtors as well.
Brilliant. And you mentioned it 2 or 3 times, I think, in your feedback there. We shared what was going on with us, and therefore they were more empathetic to our thing. Because it's easy to say to somebody else, listen here, I'm cutting staff salaries, I haven't paid my rent, all the rest of it, can't pay you. But when I hear that person has also done that, Is also cutting salaries, hasn't got financing, is battling to keep the doors open. And then I go, okay, well, let me make a plan. Because that's the beauty of entrepreneurs. That's how good we are. We can always make a plan. But I ain't going to make a plan if you just send me a lazy email. I'll make a plan if we can. What is typically going to happen with that person? They can ask you how you do. Well, yeah, thank you. I'm going through it like everybody else. Put staff for a short time. Applied to the bank, didn't get the money. Do I have paid for May? Oh, all of a sudden you're a human going through the same thing. And now I open up a whole empathy. Oh, I was so worried about myself. Easy to say, I can't pay you. You don't make a plan, and that's what you see. So that's brilliant. And thanks for that feedback. Body to do that.
Great, thanks.
That's good.
See, Thomas has also said, you know, very sound practical advice, focus on the human, and businesses are run by humans, and the more human we show ourselves now, the more it will pay off in the future. So think of it as a bank account, your emotional bank account. The more deposits we make into an emotional bank account, the more withdrawals we are allowed to make later. You make into my bank, the more I feel guilty to reciprocate. It's just human nature. The more somebody casts on your emotional bank account, putting into that, the more I don't need this. I'm out here. So always think of that, and that's a relationship with your staff, with your suppliers, with your customers, with your bank manager, with your kids, with your wife, with your family, with your friends. It's an emotional bank account. We can't withdraw what's not there. You cannot go into overdraft. You can go into the cost, into the unsalted cracks, crumbs, but you can't go into overdraft. So I'm always depositing, but also look for opportunities where other people can deposit. I'm being human and empathize with that.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder, Harry. I think it's very important. I don't know how much of anyone else is battling with signal there, but if it was Harry's side, just what the point Harry's trying to make there is that if we treat this as an emotional bank account where we make deposits into other people's bank account, where we empathize with them, we share with them what we're going through. Those are all deposits into a bank, into your emotional bank account. And we often forget to do that because we think we can go into those emotional bank accounts and take out whenever we need to. And unlike a money bank account, the huge difference is that you can't go into overdraft on an emotional bank account. So you can get down to sharing the crumbs and getting out the little bits and pieces that might be there. But once the crumbs are gone, that's it. So it's always so important that we make deposits into other people's emotional bank accounts that are in our sphere of influence and within our business community. So be it our suppliers, be it our customers, be it our staff. What are the emotional deposits that we are actually making? And really, at the end of the day, empathy and understanding and sharing goes a long way for us as human beings. It doesn't require huge gifts and things of those natures. Often it's just the thank you. It's just the recognition, And just if I can encourage you and remind you to remember to recognize your team as well, to empathize with them in terms of where they are, to thank them for being understanding, for the work that they are doing, even if they're not earning as much as they should be earning. Just really encourage them and make some emotional deposits into their bank accounts as well. Are there any further questions that you'd like to put to the team at this point?
So while we're waiting for any other questions, Shirley, I'll just quickly read 2 comments that came. Tanya said, yeah, thank you. What you discussed is a recharge in itself, to be reassured that we are trying to deal with the situation and that's on the right track. So thanks for that, Tanya. And Jürgen has said, yeah, very insightful and practical, time to refocus on what we need to go from survive to thrive. So without any other questions, Shirley, I'm just going to give one last thought and then you can wrap it up, is the one around the team and the staff. As much as we're being open with our customers, you need to be open with your staff, because we all assume as business owners that staff know how much we pay on telecommunication costs, that staff should be on salaries, and because we're having to take a cut or we're having to work harder, the boss is just sucking all the money. So without showing them necessarily your bank account, you have to communicate that stuff to staff so that they know the pressure you're going through. And therefore, they're more inclined to be able to help you through this take a knock, be more resilient and sustain it, because they don't know. We assume they know. They don't know. They've got no idea what it costs to run a business. But then on the keeping them connected, you know, try and have a daily huddle. Daily, we just interact for 15 minutes, whether it be on Zoom, on telephone, whatever you use. How did yesterday go? What's coming up for the day? Because that would be the normal get to work. How are you? Chit chat. So, you know, some daily interaction. Use voice notes. Voice notes work really well on WhatsApp, so that you're still engaging with people. If you're not picking up the phone, you can still send them a voice note quickly. They're sending you a voice note. It makes them feel like they're part of something whilst being isolated. And then you don't have to phone them every single day. Maybe not even every single week, but try and get through. And obviously, depending on the size of your team, if you've got a much bigger organization, get some of your managers to do it then with their teams. But try and speak to somebody just privately for a few minutes every 2 weeks. Hi, Annelies, how you doing? We've had the huddle in the morning. It's my turn to now phone Annelies. How you doing? How you holding up? Are you on track? How you feeling? How's the family? How's the health? Any concerns? Thank you for the wonderful work you're doing. Goodbye. 5 to 10 minutes. But it just makes them feel part of the team, and where they would have had those interactions with us normally in the office, that's not happening behind the screen. The WhatsApp voice notes and one phone call for 5 to 10 minutes, it works wonders for still making people feel connected and part of this, and takes a little bit away from that screen fatigue and that isolation fatigue from working from home. Thanks, Shirley.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Harry. Any further questions? Speak now. We're around. So, Harry, thank you so much for joining us and giving of your time today. You've absolutely been tireless in terms of giving to most certainly the coaching community, but a wider field to the business community through this whole crisis, and we really, really do appreciate it. So thank you for your time and joining us this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, guys, and good luck. We'll get through this. We all will get through this. So if you need anything, you know, reach out to Team Inala, to Shirley, to Sean, to Annelies. You know, I'm available anytime. Whatever we can do to help and support each other through this, let's do that.
Brilliant.